First off, that's amazing. We need more people showing cats in the cat fancy because unfortunately the stereotype is true. I usually stand out like a sore thumb, and I'm in my 30s now. I started when I was 24, and I still am usually the youngest person in the show hall. So unless there's children that somebody brought their grandkids, I'm usually the youngest exhibitor. So we need to replace those older ladies that are passing away. And even if you're showing in household pet, it helps keep the shows going. Like, we need people entering the cat fancy, and I am trying to educate people not just on my breed but on cat shows so that we don't lose the cat fancy. Unfortunately, it's not the cheapest hobby to get into, but it's awesome. I love cat shows. I love the community. It's changed a lot since I started. It used to be real catty, and nowadays it's, at least with who I'm involved with, it's super supportive. I'm in Tika, and in my region in Tika, we're stupid supportive. I blow dried two strangers' cats in a public bathroom at the last show. I don't know these cats. One of them was a male intact Maine Coon who was pissed. And she came up to me and was like, my cat had an accident. I heard you're a cat groomer. Is there anything you could do to help? And I was like, I got you, boo. I brought my dryer just on the off chance that I would need to help somebody. Like, that kind of support. So it's awesome to hear that you want to get into showing, and household pet is a fun way to get into it. It can be really competitive. I definitely recommend watching the documentary. Sorry, I have trouble speaking. Catwalk. I believe it's on Netflix still. Amazing. Like, it'll give you an idea of how competitive it can be and a little bit of what showing's like. It's a great documentary to watch, especially as you're starting out. I also have some book recommendations that help me out a lot because, like I said, back in the Stone Age, when I started, they were still advertising shows in the newspaper and nobody was reading the newspaper. Like, it was very old school, bunch of old ladies that weren't with the times, and there just wasn't any information on the internet on how to get started. So this book is from the 80s, and it is no longer in publication, but this one helped me out so much starting breeding and especially starting showing in the spotlight. It is no longer in publication, but I'm sure you can find it in the depths of the internet. I believe I found this on eBay. This book was the most helpful for me. I believe this one may still be in publication, and it's Showtime, and it was also really helpful. Both had things that I felt were helpful. Like, most of it was the same information, but both books had a little bit something else to add. So I definitely recommend both of them. The biggest thing that will help you is finding a mentor. You can contact CFA and Tika for their mentorship program, and they will get you in contact with somebody that's showing in household pet, or if you're showing a breed, they will get you in contact with somebody in that breed to help mentor you, to help you to have, if you have questions that you can ask them, from grooming to entering into the shows, what shows to pick. They will help mentor you. The biggest thing is if you can't get into the program, I know it's swamped. If it takes forever to hear back from your mentor and your show's coming up, let the entry clerk know. Email the entry clerk on the show bill that you are new, and they will be sure to bench you next to somebody that's nice and helpful, and just cling on to that person. They will guide you through it. They'll help you make sure you get to your rings. Unfortunately, it's something that you find out the most when you're there at the show. Like, you could only be prepared so much going into the show, but when you're at the show, it's so helpful to have somebody there to take you under their wing and to make sure you get to your rings and make sure you know what you're doing. And they'll be sure to bench you next to somebody that they know is nice, and just be really very kind to that person, be very understanding that they're showing too, and it can be really stressful getting to rings, let alone helping somebody else and helping them get to their rings. So just patience all around. But the biggest thing is find somebody that can help you, and it will go by so much better. My first show was an absolute nightmare. I've posted about it before that I did email the entry clerk that I needed help, that I was new and I had no mentor. And he's like, I got you. I will call you tonight or something. And he never did. And so I was like, okay. I came from the dog show world, and I knew that could be real dramatic. So then I emailed him, and like it was getting closer and closer to the show, and it had been weeks since he said he would help me. And so I started getting real desperate because I not even entered in the show at this point, and I really needed to get my kitten, then Radagast, into the show, get him showing. And so I started calling, started getting real desperate, being a little stalkerish. He had died. So the new entry clerk that took over for him, eventually, his wife told him about my emails and everything, and she took care of me. So just hopefully you don't have that experience, but if it's not the best experience, hopefully that gives you a little bit of a laugh, because yeah, that's my luck with showing, is that was my experience. So just keep with it. It can be a little overwhelming, but it's so much fun, especially when you figure it out, and especially when you have a cat that loves to show. Like, it's a great bonding weekend that you just get to spend time with your kitty.